Right, are we numbering this one, or is it just going to be Justice League review?
I think it has to be an emergency episode, to be honest. I don't let me number it.
Geek Speak, the definitive 365 cut. These are the meaningless ramblings of a Scottish Whedon whore and a Pissy ex-video store clerk. Their ongoing mission is to set right the movie wrongs. They're gonna need a bigger podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome back to 365 Flicks podcast, and this is episode... Sorry, this doesn't have an episode. This is an emergency episode. Shit, man. We are here to give our reaction to the Justice League movie, which just opened before the weekend. We went to see it on Friday night. But first of all, my name is Kevin, and I am the Pissy X video store clerk.
And I am Chris, and I am the Pissy Scottish Whedon whore.
The Pissy Scottish Whedon whore. You've added a word in there.
Tonight I have.
You have. You're just stealing my title now, aren't you?
Well, no, I'm borrowing. Just for this once, don't worry.
So we're going to get into talking about the Justice League in a moment. Movie fans, it's not what we were hoping to be saying about Justice League. I think we've both kind of... We'll get to it in a minute. We've got some things to cover first. What I will say is, first and foremost, is that this is going to be a full spoiler. Are we good with this?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen it.
But warnings up front for anybody who's listening who hasn't seen the Justice League yet. You've been warned. We're going fully into spoiler territory. Not that there's a great deal to spoil, but we're going fully into spoiler territory, and we don't care because, quite literally, I'm not doing this again. I'm not talking. I'll talk about Justice League again, but I'm not reviewing this movie on the normal episodes.
Yeah.
We will do this. We will fully go into spoiler territory. You have been 100% warned, and that is that. So don't get pissy with us.
Yeah, it's going to be... Okay, yeah, so this is going to get ranty. It's going to get negative, unfortunately. We don't want to, but, well, what are you going to do?
Well, we got what we got. Yeah, I mean... I honestly didn't think when we went to see the movie on Friday night that it was going to get like this. I'm going to try and keep things a little bit positive in certain aspects because genuinely I'm disappointed about the movie, but it's not really for the reasons that you might think. We kind of talked about it in the car on the way back. I was just a little bit kind of outside of myself, like what the fuck just happened there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. But before we get into the review, I just wanted to get the spoiler alert out of the way because we are going to be dealing with every aspect of this film right now, as much as we can before we just decide, you know what, let's just fucking call it a day. That's why this is an emergency podcast. It's not got a number. It's just an emergency podcast. But first of all, mate, you have got a job to do.
Yeah. Okay then. Why not? Yeah, you know what? I was writing notes about this earlier on, and it put me in a bad mood. So yeah, have a look for us on Facebook and Twitter. Type in 365 Flicks Podcast, and you will find us. You can also have a look on Tangible Network, Wicked Radio Network, Weeby Geeks, our British home, nerdly.co.uk. On the Twitter, you can have a look for us on hashtag #PoddenFamily and hashtag Britpod scene.
Yeah, man. You know what? You should be pissed off more often because that was perfect. I mean, you missed half of it, but it was perfect.
Yeah, I'm not finished yet. I didn't say I was finished, did I? Don't start with me. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and any other third-party podcasting app. Just search for 365 Flicks. You fucked it. I was in the bloody zone. And you fucked it. You're horrible. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review. You might not want it on this one. You might. You never know.
You maybe will. Maybe you completely agree, and maybe this is... I think Tony might give us a 5-star review after this one.
Well, I was speaking to Tony on Saturday, I think it was, about it, and I didn't really like agreeing with him, to be honest. It didn't. It felt jarring.
It felt dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty, mooty, dirty. So yeah. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. We have a couple of ongoing campaigns right now that I want to quickly mention. Gary Chudley's campaign on the Kickstarter for Plague the Miranda Chronicles Volume 2 is still up and running. There's still about 2 weeks left to go on that. We're hoping to get him on before the end of the campaign to really hammer that home to you, but they've already made their goal, so fair play to them. Hopefully we'll get some more. And today is the 19th on recording. This episode will hopefully go out on the 20th. Mark Zammit is starting another Indiegogo campaign for Homeless Ashes to get some more money for that movie to get it out there. So I don't exactly know the full details. I'm assuming if you go to Indiegogo, type in Mark Zammit or type in Homeless Ashes, you'll find it. Give some money to that campaign because we want this movie to be finished. It's a very important movie. Definitely. And with that done, let's get into it.
Let's go. Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
I don't know. Well, we'll start with some positives. Let's talk some positives.
Okay, let's do positives first.
Right.
Because we don't want to be negative Nancy's. Let's talk positives. Have you got any?
Okay. Well, okay, the first positives, obviously, the shining lights in the movie, Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa.
Yep, completely agree there.
Ezra Miller in particular, Jason Momoa should have had more screen time. We both agreed on that part.
He should have did. We said from the start, like when we came out, that his backstory and his development deserved at least another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
For my money, anyway.
But I thought Ezra Miller stole the movie for me.
Yeah.
He can keep it. But, yeah, he was great. Ezra Miller was fantastic. He absolutely nailed it. So I am completely on board with a Flash movie now. I'm completely on board with an Aquaman movie.
Definitely.
So, yeah, those two did great.
Yeah, definitely. Jason Momoa, I mean, he looks like a rock star. He acts like a rock star for all intents and purposes. He is a fucking rock star in this movie. And he's great. The only thing that maybe put Ezra a little bit ahead of him for myself, and I'm assuming for you as well, was that he didn't get a massive great deal to do compared to Ezra.
Yeah.
Because Ezra had his little bromance going on with Cyborg a little bit, and he also kind of had his his quippy one-liners, his banter back and forth with like Ben Affleck and all that, which we were hoping for, and we got it.
Yeah, maybe sort of. That's one character that having Joss Whedon involved sort of lent itself to that character.
100%.
I would say
100%. Because we know that Zack Snyder isn't necessarily amazing at comedy. So what else do you have positives? That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, Gal Gadot was fine.
Well, yeah, this was one big positive for me. I've kind of got it all together. Like one big positive for me was literally the actors. Ben Affleck was great as Batfleck again. Little bit less great than he has been before, but he was still great.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot is fantastic again. Again, a little bit less fantastic, but she's still fantastic.
I actually thought that as well. It was like I wasn't as crazy about Wonder Woman in this than I have been,
which was a strange one.
I don't know.
It was a strange one with Gal Gadot because we just watched her in Wonder Woman, and she's fucking phenomenal. We both kind of said that she pretty much stole the show in BVS when she turned up in the big fight and all that. And then in this one, it's like Gal Gadot, people just, still great, just a little bit less great. And the third one, I'm not going to mention him. Ezra, I thought was great. Momoa, I thought was great. Ray Fisher as Cyborg was okay.
Shite.
He was okay.
No,
I'm not
shite. Whiny.
I kind of put Cyborg in my meh column. I have
columns. I have columns.
He's in my meh column because I didn't hate him, but I didn't love him. I love the fact that the Cyborg outfit was evolution. What do you call it? Like it was getting better as the movie went on. It was sort of evolving. That's evolution, and that's not a word.
Evolutioning.
See, the millennials.
That should be a word.
The millennials are gonna fucking hate me because they like to shorten words. I'm adding letters to words.
Evolutionizing.
Evolutionizing, and I'm all for that. Transmorphification.
Ing.
Ing. But yeah, I love that his suit was getting better through the movie, but that character for me was very much in the meh. I didn't hate him. I didn't love him.
Hated him.
I know you did. You didn't. You couldn't get away with him, could you? What was your problem with Cyborg?
He was a whiny bastard.
Yeah.
Throughout.
But he had just like been killed and then.
Oh, fuck that! Fuck that! The suit looked like garbage.
To start with, it did, but it got better.
Nope, all the way through, garbage.
Okay.
I'm getting angry already.
Are you done?
No. Oh, no. Oh, but Cyborg, I'm done, yeah. That's all I've got to say about it.
So we've pretty much covered the characters there. Other characters in there, I was a little bit pissed off with Diane Lane and her characterization of Martha Kent. Did you get the sense in the movie that she was going senile?
How do you mean?
There was a couple of scenes that I kind of felt like Martha Kent had pretty much lost her marbles a little bit, which I'm okay because, you know, Superman has died, Clark's died, so she's a little bit off kilter. But in this movie, she just felt like a senile old lady to me, and it really kind of I didn't get the Martha that I got in the last film.
I didn't get that at all.
No, that's something I picked up on.
No, I didn't get that.
How did you feel about Amy Adams as Lois?
Meh.
Again, not a massive great deal to do again. She's kind of just had a couple of little scenes at the start, and then they brought her back towards the end for obvious reasons. How did we feel about J.K. Simmons?
He was fine.
As Jim Gordon?
Yeah, he was okay.
Why not? I thought he might have a bigger role. I thought he might have more to do.
I think pretty much that's the overrunning feeling about the movie, or at least from our point of view, is that everybody should have had a bigger fucking role.
Yeah, and we will get into that in a little bit because I read an article. I sent you an article last night that really, really fucking pissed me off, and we will get into that later. But before we get there, we're going to cover some other little bits. Billy Crudup as the Flash's dad, Henry Allen.
Meh.
Waste of an actor.
I mean, I'd like to see him in the Flash movie.
Maybe.
Like, are they just going to do season 1 of the Flash though?
Most likely. I get the feeling that might be where they're going. Yeah. Because he got the job, didn't he? The PD kind of thing. So who knows? Maybe it's just going to be fucking Flash season 1, but less whinier. Well, yeah, it has to be less.
It'll be less whiny.
It has to be less whiny.
Yeah, he was fine, I suppose. I don't really. Meh.
Again, not in it enough to really pass comment, was he?
No.
So let's talk about the Steppenwolf in the room, because I know this is gonna get you going a little bit, isn't it, pal?
Yeah. So why don't you go first?
Well, me personally, and I said this in the car on the way back. Me personally, I wasn't overly fussed about Steppenwolf. Not as in I didn't like him or I did like him. He was just a big bad in the movie for me. I knew that going in, it was sort of like the Justice League with Steppenwolf, as I always took it. He is a stepping stone till we get to Darkseid in the next movie. That's kind of how I got it. So going in, I wasn't overly fussed about how Steppenwolf was going to look or how he was portrayed. The CGI, you're right. You said in the car a few times the CGI on Steppenwolf was a little bit dodgy in places, but overall, as a big bad, he didn't really fuss us. I could get away with him. I could take him or leave him. He was just there. He was just the big bad for them to fight.
But no, he was shit. He was shit. It's the same. One of the things I said to you and Paul in the car is it's the same thing as Suicide Squad. Just sort of struggling with their big bad again. And it looked like utter crap. The CGI was terrible. There was a couple of moments where I thought, okay, it looks fine. But no, on the whole, looked like shite. Stop with these entire CGI characters. Just fucking stop it. there was no motivation behind the villain. There was no, okay, so he was uniting the fucking stupid bloody bastard cube things, the
mother box,
so the Tesseracts. He was uniting the Tesseract Allspark things to make the One Ring. Basically, that's what he was doing.
Yeah, I will. Let's be honest. The plot in itself, we haven't really talked about the plot yet. We will in a little bit, but the plot in itself.
But why? Why was he doing that? Why?
The plot in itself was hugely generic, and it was hugely lazy. Like, I think they were hoping that the characterization was going to get across a little bit better, so that they didn't have to rely on the plot. But the thing with the mother boxes, that's just a DC thing.
You did say that in the card. To be fair, I don't read the DC comics regularly. I have no idea about Steppenwolf or Darkseid or the fucking Tesseract.
Yeah,
I don't know any of that. So, but then surely that's the writer's job to, make that interesting. If you said that's a shit thing, well, why put it in your fucking movie?
100% agree with you. I think the mother boxes is a very lazy plot device as is, and they do seem to rip it out whenever they want to rip it out. But we didn't need that in this movie. We really didn't need that. I didn't overly understand what Steppenwolf was trying to do. It just seemed like he was trying to do like what Zod did at the end of Man of Steel, and he was going to create a new planet on top of Earth. That's kind of how that came across.
Well, he was kind of doing what Kevin Spacey was doing in Superman Returns. He was making rocks.
Basically, yeah.
That was his big evil plan. He was making rocks.
It wasn't a very good plan, I'll give him that.
It was crap. I mean, there was no jeopardy, no fucking jeopardy whatsoever to the heroes. There was no explanation of what the villain's motivation was. Was he even say, okay, if I do this, if I make the One Ring, I can get Darkseid in, or fucking. I can't remember his name right now.
I did see that though. A lot of people were complaining about how the first
Sauron.
The first hour of the movie was supposedly like exposition dump after exposition dump, and when we sat there watching it, after I'd had read those reviews, I'm sitting there thinking, there's not a great deal of exposition happening here. No. It's just kind of moving along at a strange pace.
Well, it reduced the characters, so we see Batman doing a bit of Batmaning. Fine, yep. Absolutely fine. We see Wonder Woman doing some Wonder Woman-iness. That was awesome. That was badass. Cool. We get introduced to the Flash. We get introduced to Pissy Cyborg, and then we go to Themyscira. Have I pronounced that right?
Themyscira, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Leading planet.
We see some scantily clad Amazons.
Fuck
which
off.
Isn't
Fuck off.
Which isn't sexist. They were kicking ass. Fuck off. They were kicking ass. And shut the fuck up.
They were having a day off, as was, and then Steppenwolf came in and fucking bust their shit up. So of course they didn't have their armour on. They weren't in battle mode.
But it wasn't. They weren't in battle mode. When they get their Allspark going, they're in battle mode then. So Steppenwolf, of course, there's the Skybeam. Of course, there's the Skybeam because that's added to the generic shit.
It's DC. They need a Skybeam.
So Steppenwolf appears, kind of like Loki in Avengers Assemble, steals the box and then fucks off.
Don't just say he steals the box, because that is a highlight of the whole movie. That whole Themyscira scene is fucking excellent. Like,
no.
when he's chasing after the box and they're all and that bit is excellent. I absolutely love that bit. But the mother box thing didn't take me. I kind of got the feeling that the mother box thing was there because it was like, how the fuck do we bring Superman back? And then they had to build a story around them so that they could bring him back, basically. Why they couldn't just say he's back because he is, I don't know.
But that's... I've not read the graphic novels in a while, but that's not how they bring him back.
I can't actually
I'm sure that people will correct me if that's not the case, but in I forget what the issue is called when he comes back. Death Superman, Return of Superman, something like that. But But that's not how they bring him back.
I don't think it is.
It's all done in the Fortress of Solitude and stuff and things.
Yeah, but they had to do it different.
Why though? Why did they have to do it differently?
Because they did.
But you see, the thing is, this was another point that I wanted to make, is that, okay, so they were doing a couple of scenes where they were saying, okay, this is what the world is like without Superman.
Yep.
But at no point did they say or show anything that was so horrendously bad that Batman or Wonder Woman couldn't do it themselves. At no point did they say or show or anything like that. We've got no choice. We have got to bring Superman back. We've got to do it. The world is fucked if we don't do it. No, they didn't do anything like that.
They could have built up to it. Like you say, they could have built up to it instead of just saying, right, this is the world now, there's petty criminals running around, everything's a little bit fucked. Oh shit, here's Steppenwolf, we need to get Superman. Like, they didn't know who Steppenwolf was. It was kind of on the word of Wonder Woman, basically. She's the one that tells them the story about the thing that happened years and years and hundreds of years
ago. Oh, the Lord of the Rings bit,
Yeah, she was the one that told him about that. And then Aquaman basically says, yeah, that shit did happen because my posse was there. And then it's like, yeah, we need to bring back Superman. But I kind of felt it was more like they got the mother box and then Batman realised, oh shit, that can bring him back. And it was sort of like, I kind of owe it to the world to bring him back. And that didn't really fly well with me. That didn't fly well. But they had to bring him back. It's the Justice League. But I know what you're saying.
If there was any any resemblance of a decent writer, that they would have done that so much better.
Yeah, you only really got like the opening credits was like a fucking 8 or 9 minute montage of the way the world is now, and like you say, it didn't seem that fucking bad. To be fair, it was kind of like,
well, they're the guy kicking over some oranges.
Yeah, that was great. I loved that bit.
Fuck me.
It was strange how they didn't really build up to that. Like, they didn't show you any massive disaster things that you would think, you know what, we've dealt with a lot of shit, we can't deal with this. It just happens.
That's it. That, like, even bring one of the fucking Suicide Squad in or something like that.
Yeah.
Have them fighting him. Have a couple of them getting killed off. Mm-hmm. Bring them in. You've got access to the fucking characters. Bring them in. There's got to be. You've got to have. There's no other option. We have got no choice. We must bring back Superman because the world is going to end if we don't bring back Superman. But no, it was like, oh, we may as well.
yeah, it was a bit lackadaisical. I'm completely with you on that one. It didn't really sit that well with me either. So I'm with
and another bit, and another fucking bit. When they're on about that, and Batman is saying, I've got like a plan B, and all that for when he comes back, because they're saying, what if he comes back wrong? And he said, I've got a plan B for that. And then Wonder Woman goes, well, you'd better, because if you're the first person he sees when he comes back, you're going to need it. And I said to you and Paul, I was so fucking close. I was a pubes hair close to in the middle of the cinema going, why? That's bollocks. You fought side by side. That's fucking horseshit. They were buddies. They were Martha bros.
Sons of Martha.
No, that's fucking horseshit. You've forgotten your own movie.
Yeah, I think that was because they wanted to create a little bit of tension when he did come back. I was exactly the same. I couldn't really, in my head, as much as I wanted him to come back and be screwy Superman and like fucking try and bat a Batman again, I was at the same time sitting there thinking, yeah, why? Why is he going to come back and immediately attack Batman? Why would he come back and immediately attack Wonder Woman or fucking whoever? Why would he do it? But yeah, they decided to write that in. I can only, it didn't fit. It didn't fit, but the scene was pretty cool in a way.
It was cool, and I love that bit. That's one of the few scenes in the movie that I can say I actually genuinely loved that bit. The bit where Superman holds Batman by the jaw and he goes, "Do you bleed?"
Yeah, that was cool.
That was great. That was give us more. Give us that movie.
Yeah.
Give us that movie.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? Like back when they were when they were filming and they were leaking the photo shoots and all that, all the shots of the people. And you mentioned it, I think it was yesterday or this morning, about the fact that we got that picture of Cavill in the black Superman suit. So we were expecting when Superman does come back, we're going to get at least 10, 15 minutes of like screwy Superman, super evil, going to take down the Justice League, and they have to fucking somehow bring him round.
Yeah.
We didn't get that.
We didn't get that. No, did we? Fuck. He had a bit crack with Lois in the cornfield, and then he was fine. And another bit that didn't tie up. They were speaking in the cornfield.
Yeah.
And he goes to Lois, "You're phoning my mum."
Yeah.
To tell her that I'm alive.
Yeah.
And then 15 seconds later, she fucking pulled up.
Yeah. No, he said you phoned my mum. So
no, he said
she'd
already phoning my mum.
She'd already done it.
Okay.
That was the way I took that scene. Was that she'd
right? I took it as like you're telling my mum that I'm alive.
No, I think she'd already phoned him.
All right, okay.
Phoned her.
I take that outrage back.
Take that outrage back, sir.
There's more to come on. Right.
So where do we go next? I mean, let's just talk about some of the major scenes. The key scenes was like the opening when we got to meet everyone. There was the Lord of the Rings scene. I'm sure you want to have a go about that. I personally liked that scene. It was one of the only parts of the movie, apart from some of the badass fighting, that still felt like Zack Snyder's influence to me. It was quite dark. There was big epic battles going on. The only thing that pissed me off about that
it was the start of fucking Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying I didn't personally have a problem with it. The only thing I did have a problem with, and they didn't pay it off, but they set up the Green Lantern, because you had the Amazons, the Atlanteans, the humans, and Green Lanterns flying around, and they even got a shot of one of the Green Lanterns dying and the fucking ring lifting up and flying away, obviously to find the next guy, because that's how the Green Lanterns work. That's what we know. The ring finds its next wearer, So we got that. They set that up. And then for the rest of the movie, no mention of the Green Lanterns. We didn't see Green Lantern. And even though they teased it like fuck in every trailer, we didn't get a Green Lantern. That pissed me off.
Here's a theory, because another thing that annoyed me was the amount of times that they mentioned Steve Trevor. Because it was like, all right,
yeah, I know where you're going with this.
We've seen the fucking movie, we get it, he's died and she's devastated, we fucking get it, shut up. But what if the start of the next movie or whatever is, he's in the plane at the end of World War One, and it would be really crappy, but the Green Lantern ring comes in and he's now the Green Lantern.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with Chris Pine taking on that role. I personally, I'm still hoping Armie Hammer takes up the role. And when they said that they'd cast him for something, but they wouldn't say what it was, that was when I thought Armie Hammer's going to be Green Lantern. And then they fucking showed us that trailer where Jeremy Irons turns round and
I'll be expecting you. Where was that?
That scene was fucking nowhere to be seen. And that's what I thought was going to be the Green Lantern. I thought this
is bullshit.
But the thing is, the more I was thinking about it, the more I've been looking into it, is that in the first two trailers that we received, like the teaser trailer and then the first trailer, which was all Snyder's work at that point, we got a lot of good stuff in there that we were looking forward to see. We couldn't wait to see how they paid that off. And then it was gone from the movie. It was I mean, we both read the same article last night. There's a lot of stuff that's happened since he came off the movie, and I'm not blaming any directors. I'm not blaming directors at all. Let's get that fucking clear. But there's a lot of shit that he shot that isn't there.
Yeah.
And that is just, so a lot of the things they wanted to pay off, like you had the scene where Batman was looking, you only got it from behind, but it was clearly Superman's cape. So it could have been like a hologram of Superman. It could have been anything like that. Gone from the movie, nowhere to be seen.
Mm.
Why? They didn't pay off anything they set up in the trailers or anything like that.
There was no time. The movie was 2 hours long. You had to reintroduce yourself to Batman, Wonder Woman, then get introduced to the Flash properly, get introduced to bloody fucking Cyborg properly, get introduced to Aquaman properly, then get introduced to the big bad, shitty as he was, then have set up this world-ending bloody thing, then bring back Superman as well in 2 hours.
Yep.
The movie was rushed.
Oh, hell yeah.
And after reading that thing that you sent me last night, it very much feels that there's been some underhanded shit going on there. Like, so his bloody back's turned and all that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so fucking Warner Brothers have... this is all, just sort of fucking spitball and just all conjecture. I'm not alleging anything. But it sounds to me that, that there's sort of some underhanded stuff with Warner Brothers that, they've had all this shit fucking fan reaction to Batman versus Superman and all that, and then the positive reaction to Wonder Woman. Then, Snyder's had this fucking family tragedy, and his back's turned, and he's taken time away, and so they've gone and fucking gutted his movie.
Oh, you don't want to allege anything because it is all conjecture. It's all speculation at this point. But I'm just gonna.
We need to do a Hobie, a fucking Hobie warning at the start of this episode.
Well, I'm gonna put it out there. Personally, my opinion, Snyder's version of this movie has been fucking butchered. Mm-hmm. It's been absolutely butchered because. And I'm going to get into one of the things that I absolutely disliked, and I told you in the car, and before we went into seeing this movie, I told a lot of people, like, when we were talking on Facebook, I'm a fucking keyboard warrior. I was going on Facebook, and I was speaking to people about it, and I was speaking to friends about it, and I says, the one thing that scares me the most about going into Justice League is that it's going to have no sense of Man of Steel. It's going to have no sense of Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
It's going to have very little sense of the epicness that we got in Wonder Woman. And what did we get in Justice League? The tone was completely fucking different. There was no, even Gotham looked bright as fuck. The scenes in Metropolis are always there going to be bright as fuck. They took away the real world element of the final battle, which we'll get to in a little bit. But that was definitely going to be Chernobyl. 100% that was supposed to be Chernobyl. Yeah. And then they changed it to some bumfuck Russian town that they made up. They completely made that place up. So they took away the real world element that Zack Snyder was trying to put into the DCEU by making it someplace that we don't know. And then just the whole movie, they're laughing and joking and bantering and pissing around, having jokes.
So it felt like a Scooby Gang meeting in Buffy.
Yeah, what I said
at times, the bit on the plane or the fucking troop carrier, whatever, the bit on the plane, it felt like a Scooby Gang meeting.
That was the guys sitting around Stark Tower, fucking trying to lift the hammer. That's what that was. It's the only thing I can come up with. I don't want to compare it to that movie, but me personally, like you say, Snyder's back was turned. Snyder had, for obvious reasons, and fucking you can't blame the man for the reasons that he walked away from the movie. But they bring in Joss, which he was already kind of on board doing rewrites a little bit because they thought the human element wasn't getting through because apparently the first cut was unwatchable. So they bring him in to do some rewrites. This happens to Snyder. Snyder walks away, and all of a sudden, it's, for me, you probably don't agree. A lot of people probably don't agree. But it feels to me like Warner Brothers turned round to Joss Whedon and whoever else and said, Marvel this shit. Turn this movie into what Marvel do. Let's make this movie lighter, funnier, and more approachable. That's what they did, and that's why, for me, it bears no resemblance to any DCU property I've seen yet.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
And
I'm not gonna disagree with you on that.
That's why that's where my disappointment comes from. I'm not disappointed in Snyder. I'm not disappointed in Whedon, because at the end of the day, you pay the man to come in and do a job. He's going to do the best fucking job he can do with what he's got.
Well, he's part of that whole group now. He's doing Batgirl.
Exactly.
So he's got, like you say, Kev, he's got a job to do. And if they've gone to him, sort of Marvel that shit, or Buffy that shit up kind of thing,
like,
then
do what you did over there, but for us. That's what I came out with, and that's why when we walked away and we were in the car, you was having a little rant. I was hardly listening to you. I was just sitting there thinking, I am so fucking disappointed with Warner Brothers and DC. In fact, I'm so disappointed with both of them for letting that shit go. But then there was other things that I was really happy with that Warner Brothers had obviously decided to do, like the credit scene. The end credits scene, after the credits.
Yeah, that was good. I'm happy with that.
They've got Eisenberg in there, which to me says they've committed to Eisenberg as Luthor. Everybody was saying, Eisenberg's out. He's not Luthor anymore. He's done. He's gone. Well, obviously Warner Brothers don't think he is. I know it's only an end credits scene.
Apparently, you get a story a week of Ben Affleck leaving Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And then in that same post-credits scene, we had Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying he was cut from the Batman movie. He's been cut from playing Deathstroke. Clearly Warner Brothers has decided he isn't. So I was happy with that commitment, but they didn't commit to their universe. They clearly haven't committed to their universe.
Yeah.
And they've completely dropped the ball, and that's why I'm so fucking disappointed in this movie.
Yeah, I'm honestly disappointed as well. I was really looking forward to seeing it. We said during the week we were a little worried that Whedon's style and Zack Snyder's style wouldn't marry, but we never really got a chance to see that because there was so much cut out of the movie that we never got a chance to actually make that up. I mean, there were a few moments that were Whedon-y, like I said, the moment on the troop carrier thing, where they're all shooting the shit.
Definitely.
I'm disappointed as well. I didn't want to have to be doing a podcast about how much I fucking hated this movie because I was really looking forward to it.
No, my only thing with that is I don't hate the movie. I categorically don't hate the movie. Disappointed with the movie. Don't necessarily like the movie as much as I hoped I was gonna. But I don't hate it. I'm just extremely this is the kind of thing, Lindsay was asking us the next day, she's like, so what did you think? And I was just like, you know what? As far as the DCEU goes right now, I feel empty. I feel absolutely betrayed by the fact that they couldn't commit to their own thing and they had to, in order to make money out of it, because obviously that's what Warner Brothers is all about. They don't give two shits about the fans, let's be honest. They're all about the money, so in order to do that, they had to fuck with everything.
Well, that's not worked though, is it?
It hasn't, because I think there's going to be a lot more hate towards this. And it's amazing to me to think that people were crying out for Snyder to never direct a movie again. People were saying Snyder is a fucking hack. Snyder should not be directing movies. He shouldn't be given tentpole movies. But now, this movie's come out, people have seen it, and there's a fucking petition to get Snyder's fucking Justice League movie out there, because we know that's not what he made. That's clearly not what he fucking made.
No, I know.
They said, I read something today saying that he had 4 hours of usable footage. His original cut of the movie was 3.5 hours long. So where did that hour and a half go? Now, that could just be rumours. It's all conjecture. But I personally believe this movie came in at least 3 hours on the first edit. Because that's Snyder. That's what he does.
But it's your Warner Brothers. This is your Avengers Assemble.
Yes.
This is the one where they all come together.
Yep.
So you want it to be 2.5 hours, 2 and 3/4 hours long. You don't want to. you don't want to be rushing through your movie. You've got to set up these new characters into your universe, and you've got a job to do with the big bad, which wasn't done. And so where the fuck did $300 million go?
Oh, no fucking idea. It went on them losing faith in Snyder and bringing in Whedon and reshoots and rewriting and fucking... That's where the money went. They fucking cut this movie so badly, filmed new scenes. I mean, according to the article we both read, and I'll mention it in a minute about... We'll give whoever wrote it credit and everything, but the article that we read, every Superman scene was recut. Every Superman scene was refilmed when Whedon came on board because they didn't like the way he was being portrayed. So every scene, every fucking Superman scene, and you can tell because although it's quite funny, but the thing about the mustache, because he's in Mission Impossible 6 right now with a mustache, you could fucking see that CG. You could see where they'd taken the mustache.
And in the moment that I really noticed it was right at the very start, in the little camera phone bit at the start. That was just...
What was that? Completely honest with you, I felt like standing up and walking out when that came on. Like, that... I don't get why they had fucking mobile phone footage in that fucking movie. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Honestly, that came on and I felt sick to my stomach and I was like, oh, so we're just going to start with a fucking Whedon joke, are we? Because that's his. There's no way that's Snyder. It's not his style.
Well, it wasn't Snyder because that was, for me, that was the most apparent CG lip thing.
Yeah.
Because he looked like the fucking Joker. His bloody mouth was so wide, he looked like the fucking Joker. It's like, come on, where's the fucking... Like, come on, you're better than this. It's 2017. The CGI should be better than this. That
they didn't have time.
The fucking moment. There's a moment in the movie about, I don't know, when they're going off to fight bloody whatever, Steppenwolf. They all get into the troop carrier on the lake.
Yeah.
And Alfred stood on the grate in the middle of the lake, and the thing takes off and flies over him, and that. That looked awful.
It did look awful. It didn't even...
Seriously, like, I've seen better clips in a PS1 game. It looked fucking horrendous. In your DC fucking, Jewel in the Crown bloody team-up movie of 2017 that's cost $300 million, you've got a fucking CGI moment like that looks so fucking bad. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I know what you're
Absolutely
saying. Like,
unbelievable.
At the time, like when they were all coming up through the thing, I was thinking, oh, this looks fucking badass. This looks cool. The team are going to fucking take on the baddie. And then that came along and I was like, oh, why? Yeah, I know what you're saying.
There's bits in Sharknado that were better than that.
Well, we'll not go that far.
Well, we will.
We won't though, because it's not.
It is. It fucking is.
But yeah, I'm completely with you there. So let's talk about the final big battle between Steppenwolf and the gang, because there's a few really, really, really fucking glaring, shitty things in here. One of them being the battle itself. Actually, like, it was far too short. I expected that whole thing to go on a lot longer. During the battle, they kept cutting away to make jokes, like Ezra Miller racing Superman to save the people. And there's another thing that is an addition after Snyder, because that family was never in that movie. From the Snyder version, that family was added in later to give that battle some sort of human aspect. Because to me, it was completely so fucking out of place. Like, why do we keep cutting to this family?
Well, yeah, I did feel like, well, what's the point of this? Like, yeah.
And it turned out the point of that was to pay off a joke, which was a race between fucking Flash and Superman. That was the payoff. And we got them all the way through the movie. We kept cutting away to this family that I could not give a fuck about in fake Chernobyl. Just wasn't for me. The whole end battle, as you say, there's no threat to the heroes in the movie.
No. You've even got when Superman comes back, You even got him going saying, "Is this guy still bothering you?"
Yeah,
and so there's no like you just said, there's no threat to the character, to the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real urgency. We have to finish this guy off, or the world's done for.
They were having fun with it.
They've got the bit where fucking Cyborg's trying to take the Tesseracts apart, and Superman comes and he's like you say, he's making a fucking joke about not wanting to die again and all that, and it's like, okay, Buffy did it.
Yeah, Buffy did do it. I know what you're saying, but it was like that whole battle was just fucking ridiculous. Like I say, it was far too short. Nobody got fucked over because they said that to everything about this was like to win, they needed to unite the League. They needed everybody there. Cyborg and Flash might have struggled with Steppenwolf by themselves. Wonder Woman was kicking his ass. Aquaman was kicking his ass. And bless him, Batman was fucking kicking his ass.
Yep.
And then when Superman turned up, he could have used his fucking pinky and killed Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Because he was totally overpowered when he came back.
That's the thing. That's what I meant earlier on, is that you have to have a better reason to bring Superman back from the dead.
Yeah.
And then we may as well give it a go.
Yeah.
There's got to be, like you just said, Kev, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Aquaman could have kicked his ass.
Easily.
If the three of them teamed up, they could have fucking whooped his ass. So you needed a Steppenwolf to be so fucking badass, so fucking killing everyone left, right, and centre. Kill that fucking family.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
There is no other option than to bring Superman back, because we cannot take this guy.
And they could have.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my main thing about the last fight, to the point where, as you say, is this guy still bothering you?
Yeah.
And fucking when Superman turns up, you've got Batman on a ledge just above, smiling his fucking ass off, absolutely having a ball, and I'm sitting there thinking, no, this isn't Batman. Stop fucking doing this. But according to a lot of reviewers and a lot of people out there, they completely got the tone of the characters right. Everybody was spot on.
What, Batman smiling and joking? Yeah.
People seem
Fuck
to love.
off.
People
Fuck
love this
off.
new tone in the Justice League. This is what I mean. This is why they got so much grief because of BVS. They got so much grief for the world-ending destruction at the end of Man of Steel, which was completely necessary, by the way. They got all the grief for the Suicide Squad, and they've listened to every single complaint, and they've pandered to it in the Justice League. They've pandered to everything. So those people out there who complained about BVS, who complained about Man of Steel, said all that shit, told them to listen to them, said they wanted it to be more like the other company or Fox or fucking Sony or whatever. They said they wanted it to be more like that. Well, you fucking got it now. You've got exactly what you wanted. And guess what? It's a fucking piping hot mess.
Yeah.
They should have just... DC, Warner Brothers should have made that movie.
They should have
committed to the universe. And if
I know.
If it didn't make $2 billion, so fuck. At least you've got your integrity. At least you're fucking making the movies you're meant to be making.
But that's the thing, is, you stay true to the universe that you're building up.
Yeah.
And, I mean, from what I've read, I think I read this, is they're not actually going to be planning another team-up movie.
That's fucking bollocks, man.
They're going to be all of them are going to be doing their individual movies, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, okay.
But they're going to be sort of randomly showing up. Like, Batman will show up in this bit, and Superman will show up in this Wonder Woman movie or this Batman movie or whatever. But I read this a few weeks ago, that they're not actually going to be doing, for the moment anyway, another team-up movie.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. They've had their asses kicked on the last few movies. Wonder Woman's the only one that seems to be getting any real praise. It doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. But what it does do is fucking depresses me. Absolutely depresses me. Because yeah, I don't know how to fucking put it into words. The way I felt coming out of that movie and the way I feel now going forward with the Justice League, it's just, and I've been the champion of it. Whenever somebody's said this movie's going to be shit, I've turned around and said, you know what, let's give it a fucking minute. Let's let it have its time. But I don't know. I blame Warner Brothers. It's all down to them.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not. You can't blame this. You can't put this at Zack Snyder's door. You can't. For me, anyway, you can't put this at Joss Whedon's door. The guy had a job to do. It's fucking Warner Brothers. It's Warner Brothers wanting to make all the money in the world, and they thought, okay, we've got a chance here because of Zack Snyder not being present. We've got a chance here. We can make this movie into what Marvel are doing.
Yeah, oh man. Right, that's what it comes down. It comes down to that, and just listening to the backlash. And you know what? I'm all for people having their opinions. I'm all for, I'll fucking shut you down on what you say. I'll have a go at what you say if I don't fully agree with it, and I think you're going a bit too far. I'll have a go at it, and I'll turn into Kermit on the fucking keyboard. But the reason that I'm like that is because if a studio like Warner Brothers and DC, who are all about making money, listen to every little thing that's being said bad and negative, they're going to try and fix it, and we're going to end up with this.
Yeah.
And that's always been my problem with the criticism that these movies are getting, because I knew this would happen, and this is what we got.
But the thing is, people on the internet are cunts.
For the most part.
You are making a movie and you're trusting this guy to set up your universe for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, we are both in the opinion that he was doing a fucking cracking job. We love BBS, we love Man of Steel. That he was doing a good job and that he had a vision up to and including Justice League. So whether you say after Justice League, okay, we want to go a different way, we want to just focus on individual movies, fine. But don't tell this guy to build your universe up to the team-up movie and then fucking gut everything that he's worked for.
Aye.
It's bullshit. It's wrong.
I would absolutely... it's never going to happen now because he's not going to burn bridges or any of that. Most of the movies that he makes are with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But I would love to know what Snyder thinks of the final version, what came out on Friday, because he doesn't seem to be doing any press for it. He doesn't seem to be doing any sort of... on Twitter, I went on his Twitter today, and there is nothing about Justice League. He's not even retweeting Justice League stuff. It's all about this movie that he's working on, which is fair enough. But it seems to me that he's completely distanced himself from the whole process.
I don't blame him at all.
And I may be wrong. He might be doing stuff somewhere, but it looks to me from everything I'm seeing that he's just, you know what, that's your thing now. You do with that what you want. You gave me a shot, and then you've taken it off me and you've fucking ruined it. That's where I stand.
Yeah.
It's just fucking depressing, man.
I know.
And then, like, as well, we were both happy that, was it Hans Zimmer came on board? We were both happy that he came on board because we don't mind a bit of Hans Zimmer. He said he was bringing back the Batman '89 soundtrack, which you heard a few times. He said he was bringing back the Superman Richard Donner Superman theme, which you heard a couple of times. Not often, not as much as the Batman theme. But can we just mention about how fucking flat and flaccid, I know that's the same word for the same thing, but how fucking shit the Wonder Woman theme sound? Because it didn't sound at all.
No, it didn't. It was like...
There was no punch.
The point of the Wonder Woman music is like, it's fucking badass and it gets you going and it's like, gets your fucking heart beating and all that, and it... Meh.
Even when it was in the England bit, when she was in London and she was taking on those guards, and she was doing that awesome little bit of fucking like catching all the bullets and dodging all the bullets and whatnot, which was amazing. The Wonder Woman theme tune was there. It was like somebody turned it down to like 1. Like, you couldn't fucking hear the damn thing. It had no spike, it had no spark, it had no punch. It just sounded flat. And as you say, we've always said, the Wonder Woman theme tune is probably the best thing to come out of BVS and any other fucking, because they do good soundtracks. They do good soundtracks. They always do. Snyder's got an ear for it, for when he's choosing his composers and whatnot. This, to me, the whole soundtrack of the whole movie, just, it didn't feel like anything to me.
Yeah.
It felt very flat and just very, nothing.
But even in the other bits of Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, aside from the Wonder Woman music, you've still got it's got its own iconic music, and it's like so they wanted to pay homage to Batman '89 and Superman '78, but it kind of same as mentioning Steve Trevor over and over again.
Yeah,
it's like they want to take your attention away for a split second, just for a second, take your attention away from what you're watching and make you think of, I wish I was watching Tim Burton's Batman. Tim Burton's Batman is good, therefore the movie that I'm watching must be good. Yeah,
I'm with you there. It was all an attempt to like drop in Junkie XL and I forget who was the composer in the last movie. It wasn't Hans Zimmer, was it?
Oh, I can't remember.
It wasn't Hans Zimmer, but they brought him on, and it just seemed like he was digging into his old box of tricks and giving us a shit soundtrack.
Yeah.
I've listened to the BVS soundtrack many times, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, I've listened to them all, even the Suicide Squad soundtrack, because it's all the songs from the 80s that I love. So I've listened to all them over and over. I won't be listening to this one, because I didn't get any sense of feeling or any sense of epicness from the soundtrack that you're meant to get. Just another thing that added to the disappointment, really. It felt like once he walked away, once he turned his back, for the reasons that he did, which you can't fucking blame him, they thought, right, let's do away with every Zack Snyder thing we can do away with. What are you doing? Why?
Yeah, I know. And it's, I mean, you mentioned epicness, but the final bit of the movie, the final scene in the movie, or the climax of the movie, is in a fucking funnel thing.
Yeah, the Chernobyl tower.
Yeah, it's in a big a big red fucking bubble.
Yeah, which I didn't get.
See, I thought maybe they were gonna go into Batman's dream in BVS.
Yes.
Where he's getting out of the van,
yes.
And there's all those fucking flying things, which, by the way, look like the flying things from Attack of the Clones.
They did a little bit.
Yeah.
What, Sebulba?
But it's about flying Sebulbas, yeah, it does flying Sebulbas. But I thought, okay, so it's a bloody red sky, and it's like a desert land, and Batman put on his goggles, so I thought they're going to do that, and they're going to tie it in, and they're going to do that, and it's going to be that scene. And that's your movie. Fucking, Superman's back and he's bad because he's fucking got Batman like that. And he said, "Do you bleed?" And then, later on, that's your movie. Have fucking bad Superman. No.
Well, that's one of the things that when people talk about Batman's dream sequence in BVS, and they say it was so misplaced and so ill-timed and should never have been in the movie. I have said since Batman vs Superman, we will get that in the Justice League. That will be answered in the Justice League. And guess what? No fucking mention of it. No. It looked like that's where they might be going. They didn't fucking go there. So yeah, it fucking annoyed me. Quick note on the Parademons. I thought they were okay. They were just,
I was thinking of Attack of the Clones.
They were just faceless villains, to be fair.
Honestly, I was sick by then. I was just ready for the movie to be over.
So, what did you think about the epic shot of the guys standing on the cliff, camera behind them, and they were looking down at the destruction? Did you like that? It was a nice little iconic thing.
I was bored. I wanted to go home. I didn't care.
I loved it. And then the camera came round the front, and guess what? They all had smiles.
Yeah, that's annoyed you, didn't it?
They all had fucking cheesy, wanky smiles on their face. It was, though, like parts of this movie when they were fighting people or when shit was going down, it was like watching a scene from the the Avengers or a scene from Age of Ultron, they were like quipping away, they were just blah 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 blah, and I'm sitting there going, no, just get in, kick ass, destroy as much of the fucking city as you can, and leave. Just do it.
You're Batman. You go. You stop arsing about and fucking kill him.
Yeah, but he spent most of the movie going, I don't think I can lead these people. I think either we have to bring back Superman or you have to lead, which I was totally okay with Wonder Woman leading. Like, I was happy with that. I quite like that. So I suppose there's not a massive great deal else to talk about. We were both disappointed. And it's shit that it's come to that. Because anybody who listens to our show will know that we both have liked the DCEU so far. You don't like Suicide Squad, that's by the by. But we've both enjoyed what they've done so far, and then we've got this at the end.
Yep.
This was our Avengers of the DCEU. It's not even close.
Oh, no.
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 It doesn't even come close.
No, it doesn't even come close. No.
What I have said on many occasions is that, again, while I was disappointed and I didn't exactly love the movie, I think there's worse ways to spend 2 hours. But if you're a fan of the universe already, there's far better ways to spend it. Just don't bother.
Honestly, I'd rather have stayed in Berwick and went to Foxtons.
Yeah, you gave me shit about that. I didn't realise that was the thing.
I wasn't pissed off. It was somebody else that was pissed off.
What,
he didn't get his Friday Peroni.
Was he actually pissed off?
Not genuinely pissed off.
No, I think he probably was. I'll apologise next time I see him.
Will you, though? I don't think you will.
I'll apologise to Sarah to tell him to apologise for me.
I'm sorry you had to spend 2 hours with Paul.
I'm sorry you had to spend 2 hours with Paul, but Chris had to spend 2 hours watching Justice League. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
will we wrap this up with a score then?
Yeah, we'll start wrapping it up. Let's just give final overall thoughts and whether or not people should give their money to this film. So first of all, going forward with the DCEU as we know, we have Aquaman next. We've got Flash coming, Wonder Woman 2, Man of Steel 2 is still rumoured, and we don't know what the fuck's happening with Batman right now. As far as we know, Matt Reeves is directing, Affleck's on board, but rumours are that Gyllenhaal might be replacing him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which, I'd be okay with that, but I'd prefer just keeping Batfleck.
Yeah.
So, how do we feel about going forward?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman 2 still. I'm looking forward to the Flash movie. I'm looking forward to the Aquaman movie, which is, did you say it's next year?
Yep.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I will be in the cinema for that. I'm not going to stop watching DC.
No.
At all. Batman, I hope they do make that. I mean, fuck knows what that, you know.
Yeah.
But Ezra, Jason Momoa, Wonder Woman 2, great. Can't wait to watch them.
What about Cyborg?
Fuck that.
Okay. Any chance you think we might get some Green Lantern soon?
You never know.
I really, really was looking forward. And then when when I Googled it while we were in the cinema to see if there was any end credit scenes, because I was dying for a piss. My bladder was killing us. So I was like, right, I'm just going to quickly Google it, see if there's any end credit scenes. If there isn't, I'm bailing. So I Googled it, and it said there was 2. So, like, we got the first one. We saw the Superman and Ezra race, which totally was out of fucking place. I did not like that. That was just Whedon fucking about. 100%.
I did quite like the line where Superman goes, if you lose, you're out of the team.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I quite like that line.
But again, another telling sign about how much of this movie was rewritten and cut to shit was the fact that he mentioned the brunch. Superman said about we all have to go to brunch. Well, the first scene where we saw Affleck meeting Ezra is where that comes into play.
Yeah.
Because he mentions the brunch. So it's like, how much of this fucking movie did they have to redo? Just to pay off those jokes at the end.
That could have been...
Nah, that wasn't in there. That was added. That was added later. So yeah, we're looking forward to the things going forward. Personally, Aquaman, I cannot fucking wait to see that. I hope it's got the most kick-ass rock soundtrack ever.
Oh, it has to. It has to.
Because those scenes when he was fucking gone into the sea with the massive rock fucking... that shit was great. We didn't even touch on Atlantis. What did you think of Amber Heard as Mira?
Yeah, fine. Needed to see more of her.
Yeah, I quite liked the way they done the underwater stuff. It didn't look as shit as I thought it might.
I liked when they created the bubble.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I was literally sitting there thinking, so are they just going to like do that shit when they fucking telepath each other and they just talk to each other in their minds? Because I hate when they do that shit. So I was like, so how is that going to work underwater? Or are they just going to go to the Gungan city and talk there? But then they created a talk bubble, which I liked. That's a term. # talk bubble.
Don't.
I'm looking forward to all those. I'm in the same boat as you with the Cyborg. When it comes out, I'll see it when I see it. I don't think I'm going to rush to it.
Oh, fuck that. Here's a question for you. Batgirl. You still on board with that?
Yeah. I think we have a very clear idea of what kind of tone it's going to have. So we know what to expect from Batgirl.
He can do a kick-ass female character, though, so...
He can.
Yeah.
He can. How do you feel about all these reviews that are saying he turned Wonder Woman from a strong female lead to an object in this movie with his reshoots and rewrites?
I say fuck off.
I say fuck off to that as well. The only scene that I thought her character changed remotely was the scene with her and Batman when she thingies his arm, because obviously his arms come out of joint, and I was sitting there thinking that feels a little bit strange, but I quite like the idea of Batman and Wonder Woman having a bit of sexual tension.
Did you think that was sexual tension? I don't think that was sexual tension.
It didn't come across that way to me, but I kind of just thought, yeah, go in the cupboard and bang. Go on, take her in the Batplane.
Wow.
Again, we never mentioned when they go into the Batcave how cool it was when Ezra was like flashing all over the place and sitting in the vehicles. I like that. Yep. So yeah, I'm on board with you with all the other ones. Aquaman, I can't fucking wait to see that. To me, right now, that's the one I'm most excited for. Because I can't wait to see some more Momoa. I even loved the little when he took the coat off and he had that cardigan on, like the jumper on. But it was
like the old school one.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah, I thought that one. That was cool. That was cool.
And then you got the worst bit of CGI behind him ever when he went in the water, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't look right. You're not even fucking in the real world there. You're sitting in a fucking bath. It didn't look very good. It was crap. So characters wise, everybody's got their movies coming out. We were happy about them. I suppose the next thing to do. Where do we rate it? Where do we put it?
Where do we put it?
What kind of score do you want to give this movie? Does it deserve the? I think it's currently sitting at 41% on RT. Does it deserve that, or would you give it? It deserves
lower than that.
It deserves lower than that.
It deserves lower than that. Yeah.
Would you give? Is that a 0% as coming?
No, it's not a 0%. As out of 10, I had to think about this before. I'm giving it 3 out of 10.
3.
I think it's a fucking horrendous movie. It's clumsy. It's poor. It looks like shit. Yeah. There are Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa. There are a few cool scenes, like the one you mentioned in the Batcave, the one where they're on top of the thing in Gotham with Gordon. That was cool. There are a few moments in it that are cool, like the bit with Superman as well, where he's just come back. So there are a few moments like that, but I hated it. I thought it was fucking dreadful. I'm so gutted that I'm saying that shit. But 3 out of 10, it was fucking dreadful. I will not watch that version of the movie again. If they bring out a Snyder version, which they probably won't do, I will watch that. But I will not buy it, and I will not watch it again.
Interesting. I agree with most of your points there. There's a really big part of me that wants to go really low, but I'm going to go middle of the road, and I'm going to give it a 5.
You fence-sitting fuck.
No. The reason it's getting a 5 is because I think it's an enjoyable 2-hour movie. If if you want to watch a movie that doesn't necessarily have a plot to speak of, it has some decent performances with a generic baddie and just fucking... Oh, fuck that. No, it's a 4. No, it's a 4. Aye. No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to like lift it up a little bit. But you just fucking said
if you want a movie that's got no plot.
Yeah, because it doesn't. The plot is barely there. It just seems like a random bunch of scenes.
Movie, and you can't defend that shit.
Because I think it is an enjoyable movie. I think people can go and enjoy it. I just don't think anybody who likes the DCEU, like me and yourself, people who have liked the movies that have come before, they're not going to enjoy this, which is a shame because they've been so fucking adamant that this universe has legs. People who hate everything DC have done so far, like, I don't know, Tony from Jock and Nerd. Not that I'm calling him out. He's probably going to go into this and go, it was alright. It was a decent movie. He probably likes parts of this movie. The parts that we don't like, he probably likes.
Probably, yeah. It's to be bloody awkward.
There's going to be people out there who will enjoy this movie. So, as a reviewer and as a critique for the thing, for the podcast, yeah, I'm going to give it a 4. My heart really wants to give it a fuck you 5, like the Weird Science Boys do, because I was genuinely devastated when this movie ended. I just sat there and I was like, why the fuck have you done this?
Yeah.
You know,
see, it got about halfway through and I was like, I want this movie to be over.
Yeah. And I'm not quite there, but I'm not far off that halfway through the movie. I was just kind of like, you know what? Everything inside me screamed, they've bastardized your movie. They've absolutely bastardized your movie. They've butchered every good thing about this film, and they've thrown in a bunch of generic wank that other people are going to love in this movie. And it just... I'm not saying I wanted to cry, but I was fucking depressed. And I've been like that since we saw it. You wanted to record this last night. There was just a part of me who was just like, I can't do it yet. I can't do it yet. I need to get my affairs in order. I need to get my house in order. Oh my
Christ.
I need to get my house in order because this movie kind of made me want to die inside a little bit.
Dear.
But I do maintain, and I'm not just trying to put a spin on it, I do maintain people will like this movie. So even if it's a morbid curiosity, if you want to see it, go and see it. Please do. I mean, if you've listened to this, you're probably not going to go and see it. But please do go and see it. Make your own mind up. Find out what you think. Me, personally, I don't think you're going to enjoy it unless you're just a casual movie action fan.
Yeah. If you want a mindless, plotless, fucking shit-looking action movie, then yeah, go and see it.
And a serious superhero movie where everybody's fucking laughing and joking. Like it's fucking Friday night at the Roxbury.
Yeah, you know what? Just watch Avengers Assemble instead.
Yeah, 100%. Better movie. This one kind of tried to rip it off a little bit. Better movie. Just, it's a shame. It really is a shame.
It is a shame.
Yeah. I don't really think I've got much else to say on it.
No, I think we're pretty much done. We've covered it all.
Yeah. There's not really anything else that was glaring for me. The main thing for me was when we came out of the cinema and I finally started talking about it, it was the tone and the feel.
It took us a while.
Yeah.
It took us a while before, I think it was Paul eventually said, so what did you think?
Yeah.
It took us a while. I think we were halfway to Morpeth by the time we actually bloody said that.
Yeah.
Like, because I was like, I was gutted. I was fucking gutted. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of like, I don't really want to talk about it, you know?
Yeah, that's where I was at the time. And I especially didn't want to talk to you about it. Because I knew, in my head, when we, like, probably just before the end of the credits was coming up, and I'm thinking, this is nearly finished. And in my head, I'm thinking, the film's nearly finished, and he fucking hates it. And I was sitting beside somebody that I knew hated the movie. And to put that in context for anyone listening, I didn't have to look at Chris to know this. It was just the movie. I knew that you fucking hated this movie. And that was another thing that devastated us. Because I thought, even if I try and put a spin on this, I'm going to get shut down at every turn. And I was like, so I might as well just be fucking honest about it. I mean, I think you said in the car on the way down or a couple of days before, even if you hate this movie, you realise you can't say it.
Because you'll lose face.
Yeah, because I'll lose face. And I probably will lose face to a few people. I'm sure there's a few people that might listen to this podcast and go, fuck you, Kev. Told you all along.
You know, the thing about us is if we don't like it, we're going to say we don't like it.
Exactly.
We're not going to blow smoke up people's arses. If we don't like it, we say we don't like it.
And this one actually is easy. This one is easy to give my honest kind of opinion, because I can't blame the director. I can't blame the replacement director. I could probably blame Chris Terrio on writing duties because he was there all along. But for me, the blame completely lands at Warner Brothers' door and DC's door for listening to every single bad thing that was said about this movie, about the movies before this, and basically giving us this.
Yeah.
That's where the blame lies.
Basically, fuck you, Warner Brothers.
A little bit, yeah. Well, no, a lot of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I stand.
Yeah. We'll just leave it as fuck you, Warner Brothers, then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
will that be the score? We'll just put that as the score. The episode will be called
Fuck You, Warner Brothers.
Justice League Emergency Podcast. Fuck You, Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah, done.
And that'll get us taken off iTunes. Right, so come back for our normal episode. The next episode that we have coming out, which will probably be round about the same time as this one, is going to be our interview with Tracy Birdsall. Yeah. The indie talk for the movie The Time War, which we had an absolute blast recording, and I can't wait to hear that one.
It was a good one.
It was.
It was a good one.
So are we just going to leave it there?
Yeah, done. Boosh.
Boosh.
I feel better now, actually. I won't lie. Honestly.
I mean, I was having a shit day on Friday anyway, and that really didn't fucking help. So I spent most of yesterday, I think when I went to work, I did not speak to one person. Yeah.
Isn't that just like normal for you?
That's most days, to be fair. But like when people did try and speak to me, I was just like, I just gave them the face, you know, the Halden face.
Yeah. Could you just fuck off, please?
Aye. Your face offends mine. So we're gonna end that there, and we'll be back very soon.
Yaha.